Hey y'all, I'm late. I am so sorry I'm late, honey. Y'all, if y'all was on my live earlier, y'all saw that I was just having too much damn fun and I went and laid down, okay? And got way too comfortable. Way too comfortable. And then the bed just started hugging me. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, a sister girl was sleepy, I guess. I didn't know it. I didn't realize I was, but I got the itis, I guess. So y'all come on up in here for me, please. I have not even shared this video, or should I say this live stream. Can you guys please share it to the group for me, and also thumbs up the video so YouTube can send it out to more people. If you guys could do that for me, that would be great. We are going to talk. It's so much things going on right now out there. We got, the Briana update. We have, we still, we found out Poo Poo was 5'4" and a whole felon, that do a lot of criminal activities out there. And then we have the Holly Johnson. We were supposed to do the mock trial tonight, but the prosecutor sent me a message earlier saying that she was not going to be prepared tonight. Hold on, live now on YouTube. Because she says she received some new documents that she needs to go over. So I'm not exactly sure which one she's talking about, unless she's talking about the ones that came out the other day. Okay, and I want to go over those. However, so it's going to be a continuation. I think she said Monday maybe, but I would definitely let you guys know. But she said she was not going to be able to do it tonight because new paperwork came out. But the paperwork that came out to me, we're going to go over it tonight. In my opinion, I believe that it's telling, and we'll go over it. Well, I ain't going to say telling. I like the confidence of the defense. I'm just going to say that, okay? I like the confidence of the defense. But I will be going over that. But before we get into this commentary, I would like to read a message that Briana wrote on her Facebook page. Okay? I know a lot of you guys have probably seen it. But for those that have not seen it, I would like to read it right quick. I did speak to Briana earlier. She is out. I think we all know that right now. And of course, she's shaken up because what happened to her was very unnecessary. But let me read her post and then we'll talk about it briefly, okay? So Miss Briana wrote 1 hour ago. Mrs. Briana is feeling thankful, okay? It says, thank you all to my supporters. I love y'all so much. I'm still trying to process everything that just happened. The amount of love, messages, and people checking on me these past couple hours, I feel it all, and I'm extremely thankful. I appreciate the ones who aren't quick to run with the narrative painted. These have been the longest and hardest 48 hours of my life, but I had a strong, amazing support system through it all. I'm leaning on God through it all. God is bigger than any situation, and no, I will win in Jesus' name. Y'all made the love and support so loud. So to my support system, Shay Tay, Woken Israelite, her lawyer Brittany, Walter Battle, Neek, I think it's called Neek, and Marquita. I don't know what I would do without you guys. Thank you all for loving on me the way you have, okay? Now, she wrote that 1 hour ago. I spoke to her. She is good. However, anybody that just spent 48 hours in jail for some bullshit, I'm sure they're a little upset, okay? Now, again, even though she told me what happened from the beginning to the end, I'm going to wait for her to come out and speak about it. But just know it was some straight up bullshit, okay? It was some straight up bullshit, all right? So we continue to stand with Bree. And now, especially knowing what I know from her and not a third party, yeah, It was straight up ass bullshit. Okay, it was straight up ass bullshit. Briana should have never been arrested. And I just want to say this without saying too much, okay? Without saying too much. Briana is the one that made the 911 call, okay? So it's no way that she should have been the one arrested. She's the one that called 911, all right? There was no physical altercation involved. Nobody was fighting or anything like that. So it's no way that Briana should have spent 48 mother effing hours in jail. No way, no damn how, okay? No way, no how. No way, no how, all right? So with that being said, I'm sure like right now she cannot speak of this person because of her conditions. She was bonded out and they give you strict conditions. But when Briana can speak, trust me, Briana is going to be loud about it, I'm sure. But again, it was straight up bogus bullshit, and there's no way she should have spent 48 hours in jail, all right? But she spoke of her kids. She was worried about her kids. She was more concerned about getting out more so for the sake of her children. But she does have an amazing support system that when I tell you they pull together, they pull to motherfucking together, okay? You know, with her family, her immediate friends, you know, there in the area. They pulled together and they were able to stop some things from happening, and they were able to cover down on those that mean most to her, and that is her children. Briana kids mean the most things to her. So as she sat there for 48 hours, she was more concerned about her children, first of all, and then second of all, how the hell she let a fuck nigga. Anyway, I'm gonna let her tell her story. All right, so with that being said, she's doing fine. You know, she's doing well. She's doing fine, all right? So for those that, I did see some people making fun of her, saying things like, oh, Ja stood on business, this, that, and the other. You know, nasty, disgusting people that want to make it seem like Ja did the right thing. If they were in Briana's situation, they would not feel the way that they're mocking her right now. They would not feel that, because it easily could be done to them or even their daughter, okay? Again, I say it could easily have been done to them or their own daughter, okay? So we have to be careful with trying to jump on a side without knowing the entire situation. But I do need to correct something, because yesterday I put out that Momo was with her father, because that's what was told to me. No, he was trying to get Momo, but her support system there was very strong and it was not his time, so he did not get Momo, but he did talk to her via FaceTime, okay? They said that he had posted her on a page, but it wasn't him having her. It was just him FaceTiming with her. So she was able to, you know, her support system is amazing. And I actually think everybody should have a support system like Bree. Whether it's, I'm going to tell you something. People may not like Mr. Walter for whatever the reason, but baby, Mr. Walter, okay, let me just say this right quick. Have you heard the expression, I'm just a phone call away? Raise your hand if you heard that expression. I'm just a phone call away. Because a lot of people, they make that statement. They tell people, hey, call me, I'm just a phone call away. But they really don't mean it, right? When you call them, they come up with 11 reasons why they can't be there for you, right? But Mr. Walter is a fine example of, I'm just a phone call away. He is literally just a phone call away. Because, baby, Mr. Walter burnt rubber, okay? Mr. Walter don't even live in the state of Georgia. But he burnt rubber, okay? He burnt rubber to be there. He is literally the example of, I'm just a phone call away, okay? Now, a lot of us don't have that type of support. I can't even say I do, not with family, but I absolutely do with friends. I do have some I'm just a phone call away friends, but I can't say that when it comes to family, except for like my children. you know? So I'm just a phone call away is that's standing on business right there, okay? That's absolutely standing on business. So shout out to Mr. Walter. People could think what they want to think about him or feel the way they want to feel about him. But one thing that we do know, he is the example of I'm just a phone call away when it comes to Briana and his grandkids because, baby, he burnt rubber. So he was there the entire time. And we know Mr. Walter's up in age. He's 70-something years old. So when you got somebody that's in their 70s that's jumping on the road, getting in a car and jumping on the road. So anyway, kudos to Mr. Walter. Kudos to Mr. Walter. All right. But she's okay. I'm confident that this was the wake-up call that Bree needed. Right? I'm confident. However, we'll just have to see. But I'm pretty confident that this was a wake-up call that Briana needed. Okay? I talked to her for about a good 10 to 15 minutes, and I felt good. I absolutely felt good after the conversation because, yeah, Big Bree activated. Okay? So, with that being said, shout out to Big Bree. Mr. Walter do have a Cash App up on his page. Let me see if I can find it. The bond was only $390. If you guys want to donate, go to Mr. Walter Battle page on Facebook. I'm sure most of us in here that knows this story and know Briana, we know how to find Mr. Walter. If not, she tagged him in her last post. So go to his page. He has his Cash App up. I do know some of the Loud Talkers have sent Cash Apps. If you want to send, even if it's $5, $10 or whatever, just to, take some light off the $390 or whatever. If you want to do that, let your heart guide you, and you could do that, okay? But she's out. She's good. It wasn't about the bond money. She didn't stay in because she could not afford the $390. No, that bitch ass cop, the arresting officer failed to put in anything dealing with a bond, which means that she could have potentially sat there, okay, until court. And trust me, they were trying real hard to stretch it out until Monday, okay? But a couple of phone calls were able, and thank God for lawyers. Thank God for Brittany, attorney Brittany, okay? Thank God for lawyers, because sometimes having a lawyer, even if just having a lawyer on retainer can change some things, okay? Because some people were trying to get her to stay until Monday, which means that she would have been without her kids for over 5 days, okay? So thank God for having lawyers, because 48 hours is already long enough. But now you're trying to, push it over the limit or whatever to the weekend and possibly not getting out to Monday. That's a bit much. So thank God for lawyers, and also shout out to Mr. Walter, because he was there, baby, okay? So anyway, I just want to give that update, but she's good. Briana is good. She wasn't crying. She wasn't distraught or anything like that. It was Big Bree on the phone, okay? It was Big Bree definitely on the phone. So shout out to Briana. Shout out to Briana. Shout out to Briana, all right? So, and let me just say one more thing. Her going to jail had nothing to do with John L. having a woman over there, okay? Yes, he did have a woman over there, but her going to jail had nothing to do with that. It was strictly for, between her and John L., okay? It had nothing to do with that girl that was upstairs, okay? So anyway, let's continue. All right? Oh, okay, so now that's for that. Now, let me just brush up on Poo Poo right quick, because we're not finished with Poo Poo. We just found out yesterday that Poo Poo is a whole, well, I know I did. I know some of you guys in the audience had already knew some information, because you either listened to Thug and Mika, okay? Or you have probably already heard about Poo Poo in the social media streets before. So yesterday was my first time hearing that this dude had an extensive criminal record, and that some of the things on his criminal record is very troublesome. Okay, we saw that it was kidnapping. We saw simple assault. We saw obstruction of a police officer. Okay, with the intent to obstruct justice or something like that. We also saw that he had prior charges of doing something to a minor. I don't know exactly what he did to a minor, so I'm gonna have to double back on that one. I'm gonna have to come back and let you guys know, but it was something to a minor, and also intimidation and domestic violence situation, or family violence. That's what they say, family violence type of situations, and also some drug charges, shooting charges, and things like that. Okay, so I will be giving you guys an update on Poo Poo. I'm still waiting for the paperwork because I like black and white, y'all. I like to read off what happened black and white. So I'm still waiting on that. Okay, so we will follow up with Poo Poo, or should I say the allegations about him and his charges. We'll do that on a different day, okay? Now, with that being said, she said, who did he kidnap? I'm not sure. I want to say maybe a family member, because it said kidnapping, family violence. So I'm assuming it was a family member, but what grown-ass man kidnap anybody? What dude standing 5'4" kidnap someone? I wouldn't want that on my records. I don't know, okay? So we will be giving an update on that as it come in, all right? Somebody said, who is Poo Poo? Poo Poo is the internet sister's ex-lover. Well, I say ex because now she's trying to distance herself from him and trying to pretend like, oh, he's just my baby daddy, I'm single or whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to say her ex-lover, someone that she chose to lay down with and spread eagle for, okay? All right, so nevertheless, so now let's talk about the updates that I have on the Holly Johnson case. Now, let me just say this before I start speaking. A lot of things are going to start sounding redundant, okay? Things will be repeated only because in this case, well, for one, we may not see a trial until next year, right? We may not see one until 2027. And I have to keep reminding the audience of what we know thus far, all right? So it may sound redundant when I say things like, yes, the defense say the victim ran up and swung on her and pulled her hair, hence why she had to use her protection, her Second Amendment rights to protect herself. Things like that you may hear more than once, more than 20 times, okay? So don't get too off balance because I sound redundant when it comes to this case, all right? Because a lot of information I'm just trying to keep in your memory, all right? And the reason why I say that is because I know I'm not the only one speaking on this case, and I know you guys may go over and listen to people that speak against Holly, and they may try to twist, turn, and change some things around. And I just want to reiterate things, so when you come back over here, you know where we stand over here, because I do understand that people are putting out quite the opposite information that I put out over here. And let me just say this, the information I put out over here is my analysis and my comprehension of the law and the court orders and what the defense is saying versus what the prosecution is saying, okay? It is my interpretation of law and my interpretation of the orders that's in court, okay? Everybody interpret things differently. I understand that. But I'm speaking from my vantage point, how I understand the law and how I understand the motions and the transcripts that has been put forth, okay? Now, with that being said, I received the transcripts from, what day is this? The last court date, which is, what day? March the 2nd, I think. So just Tuesday, last Tuesday, okay? Oh, just past Tuesday, should I say. So, the March the 3rd, third day of March. So I received the court transcripts. Now, not a whole lot went on because right now there's a lot of status hearings. And the reason being is because she is waiting a appeal awaiting detention release, or should I say, let me see. She is waiting for the appellate court to determine whether or not she can be detained on restrictions, okay? Actually, that's not what the appellate court is considering. The appellate court is considering whether or not the circuit court judge got it right with his decision, okay? All right? So that's what the appellate court is reviewing right now, whether or not the judge did everything that they were supposed to do, and there is absolutely nothing that can no restrictions whatsoever that Holly could be released on. All right. So that is what the appellate court will be telling us. All right. Now, with that being said, today is Friday. We all know Friday. We try to do $5 Friday. If you would like to tip your girl, I do have a goal set of $55 super chats. Okay. If you guys can and don't mind, if you guys can contribute $5 towards my goal, it would be greatly appreciated so very much. All right. So thank y'all so much. And I also have my coffee link above, because y'all know if I try to fall asleep or something like that or whatever, my coffee definitely keeps me awake. Okay. So I have the coffee link pinned above. If you guys want to send me a coffee, it will appear on the screen and you will get your proper shout out for sending your girl a coffee. Okay. Hold on one second. All right, y'all. I took an allergy pill earlier, and that joker made me sleepy as well. So I'm drinking coffee so I could wake up, okay? Y'all know I love me some coffee. So let's get into what happened on Tuesday the 3rd. Now, again, like I said, not a whole lot happened in court. I do have the transcripts here, but and I'm not going to go over the whole thing because I don't think that it's necessary, but I will give you guys the meat and the potatoes and throw away the fat, okay? I'm going to throw away the fat because around here we don't need no fat, okay? We just like the meat, the tender meat and the potatoes, okay? We don't need the fat. So the judge basically was asking the prosecutor and the defense attorney, is everything going smoothly, and are there anything that you need from one another? Okay. So one of the things that Mrs. Williams, Ari Williams, Holly Johnson's attorney said is, she said, I just want to put on record, the last court date we talked about consumption of DNA. We were looking to have an expert present. Okay. I think, then she says, I don't think. We talked to the state. We're not going to have an expert, okay? Now, let me explain that right quick before I move on. What happened was the prosecution, last hearing, wanted a swab, a buccal swab. I think that's how you say it, a buccal swab from Holly Johnson. That is a swab of her saliva from the inside of the cheeks of her mouth, okay? Now, when they asked for that last court date, the defense attorney, Ari, wanted to have an expert present while they do the swab to make sure that they were dressed, and wasn't on no funny shit, okay? So the judge basically told Ari, the defense attorney, that if you get an expert, you will have to present them, meaning you will have to pay for it, you will have to pick them out, you will have to basically be the overseer for that expert. Attorney Williams understood that and said, yes, I understand, okay? So they were holding off on doing the swab because they knew the defense wanted an expert there. So now, fast forward, the 3rd of March, Ari stated, we no longer need the expert present, right? And then she goes on to say, because the DNA kind of goes straight toward our defense, so we won't have an expert there. So basically, what is she saying? She's saying, I am confident that the DNA will work and help the defense. So we don't need an expert there, okay? We don't need to pay extra money to have somebody come in and oversee a mouth swab from or to Holly, right? We don't need to oversee Holly's DNA being collected because I'm pretty sure that the DNA will go toward our defense, okay? She said, so we won't have an expert there, okay? So she says, I already let the state know that to go ahead with the consumption of material, meaning go ahead and get Holly's DNA from her, because I'm sure you're going to find out that the DNA, some of Holly's DNA is on Romika and some of Romika's DNA is on Holly, okay? So that's what I'm assuming that Ari meant when she said that the DNA kind of goes straight toward our defense. She's basically saying she believes, if she believes her client, she believes that the DNA from Holly will be on Romika and the DNA from Romika will be on Holly. Now, what is she saying here? She's telling the courts, telling the judge, telling the prosecution that I'm confident that my client said there was a struggle, there was a fight, so I'm confident that you will find DNA on each person because there were contact made, okay? So, and she says, so I already told the state this, they already know this, and we have no objections right there. So she also went on and told the judge, we did receive some discovery today. There was a huge phone dump. From my understanding, it was over 100 pages of phone dumps from Romika phone and Holly phone. The state did a huge phone dump and handed it over to Ari Williams, okay? So her and her team have to go through all of those messages to find out what they can use and what they can set aside, okay? Now, it was told to me that there are some interesting things in this phone dump, okay? Some interesting things in this phone dump. Now, one thing I like about this is because it was said earlier along in this case that Carlos stole Romika's phone, okay? That was the rumor that was out. But this alone in this document proves that the person that told that was a bold-faced ass lie, okay? Because it's no way that they would have 100 pages of documented messages from Romika's phone if her phone was indeed stolen as it was reported to this here social media, okay? So again, the prosecution hands over a big, thick-ass file to Ari and says, here you go. Here's the phone dump, okay? So then the judge says, well, what else is outstanding? What else do you need, okay? So the state was like, well, I need some video evidence. Ari was like, I've already sent the video evidence over that I have. And the state was like, well, we only received little small clips that you had in your motion. That's all we have. And she was like, well, that's all I have. And then the state was like, well, no, you said you have something like some you have the body cam. She said, well, yeah, we received the body cam footage, but she's looking, Ari's like, well, don't you have it? You know what I'm saying? In so many words. But anyway, so they are to swap the body cam footages and everything, all the video footages that her private eye obtained. And so all the body cam footage that the state has, they have to swap it with each other. And so Ari was like, I'm pretty sure I gave all that to you, but I'll email it to you again, okay? So they kind of was like, well, yeah, no, I don't have it. And he was like, okay, don't worry. I'll get it to you after this, okay? So now they owe each other that. Now let's go a little further. So the judge was like, okay, is that it? And then I already said about the videos. It was said there are still some videos outstanding, some supplemental reports and progress notes, potentially some medicine, like medication. And then the DNA, gunshot residue, and ballistic testing is also outstanding. So the judge said, give me that again. What's still outstanding? And the prosecution says there are potentially some meds. Now, he didn't mention whose meds. He didn't mention if it was Holly's. They trying to find out what medication she was on, or Romika's. We don't know, but that state said there are potentially some meds, okay? So now we could just kind of put two and two together and assume that they are waiting to find out what medicine that was found in one or the other system, okay? That's what I'm assuming, because that's what it said, potentially some meds, okay? So somebody was on some medication. I don't know who, y'all. I heard through the grapevine that it wasn't Holly. But again, I don't know, okay? Because it does not say this in the paperwork. That's just speculation. But again, they're trying to find out who was on some meds, okay? And also the gunshot residue, the ballistic testing, and the DNA, okay? So, and then the prosecution said, and some videos, a lot of videos, and the court said yes. And then the prosecution said some reports and general progress reports, and then ballistics, DNA, and GSR, which is gunshot residue. The judge said, all right, and Mrs. Ari, you do not wish to have a DNA expert present, and you do not object to consumption. Is that correct? Attorney Ari said, yes, I don't object to that. Then the state said, judge, for the purpose of picking the next court date, the DNA will be on the May grid. So basically, the state is saying the DNA will not be available in April, okay? They will not have it in April. He said it'll be on the May grid, which means that we may not be able to report on the DNA until June. So, and then the state went on to say, I understand you may want it earlier, but I'm just letting you know. The judge says, well, what day would you like, Mrs. Williams? Now talking to the defense. The defense says, Judge, I do know the state informed the court that there is a lot of videos that are outstanding. The videos that we subpoenaed, I'm almost certain we did send those videos. So here she's saying, listen, the damn state got the damn video. She said, I'm almost certain that we sent the videos. She said, I know there's additional videos. Okay, I know there's additional videos. If not, we'll make sure we send everything over to you that we have. Meaning, we'll send this shit again, okay? So then the prosecution said, the only videos I've gotten from you are the ones that you use in your petition for release. Ari says, well, that's all we have. So then the prosecution was like, so then you're missing all the body cam, which I'll get to you because I think I received some of it. So let me go through it and I'll get it to you by the end of the week. Ari says our position had body cams already, okay? So we sent that over as well. The state said, you said everything was attached to your motion, but your motion had like 5 little clips. And Ari says, no, there were videos that were sent in the email. Check your damn email, prosecutor. Check your email. The motion was presented with the clips. I'll make sure the state get it today, Judge. Listen, I'll do what I got to do and make sure the states get it, okay? And then the judge says, very well, very well, very well. And then Ari says, well, can we have April the 1st? She wants April Fool's Day to be the next court date. She says, I know the DNA won't be back until June. All right, I heard the state say that bullshit. But I would like to take April 1st as the next date that we meet up together. The judge said, that's fine. By agreement, April 1st, 2026. That would be for the meds to find out who the fuck was on medication. That would be for the videos, the body cam videos and whatnot. That would be for the gunshot residue. That would be for the ballistics, okay? And now the DNA, that is going to be understood that the DNA is on the May grid and will not be discussed until June. Then the state says, I don't expect by April the 1st either the trace chemistry or the ballistics to be done either. So then Ari says, I know that, but she's in custody. I just want to keep the dates as short as possible, okay? She's in custody here, all right? So then the judge says, okay, fine. By agreement, April the 1st in person, we will meet back in court on April the 1st. Mrs. Williams, Ari says, thank you, Judge, all right? So then moving forward, okay, that's it. So now, what do we take from that? We took a couple of things. We took Ari being confident and withdrawing an expert needed to take a swab, a DNA swab, because she says she's pretty confident that the DNA on both persons will match and support her self-defense claim, okay? That's one thing. And then the second thing was the big phone dump, okay? Okay, the big phone dump of over 100 pages of phone messages from both persons were turned over to Ari. So Ari and her team has a lot of documents to go through to find out what they can use and what they can throw away, okay? And from my understanding, Ari is also conducting her own personal phone search as well. She's subpoenaing the phone records as well to make sure the state ain't trying to do nothing sloppy or sneaky, okay? So she is ordering her own phone forensics, whatever, to find out what was in the phone, okay? So she's doing that as well. So I guess they're going to have 2 phone swaps just in case the state want to be on something. I don't know if they do that type of shit or not. I don't know. Okay, she said the state is full of shit. The state play a lot of games knowing they're going to lose. Oh, okay. So somebody said the state's full of shit. So with that being said, hold on one second. So with that being said, Ari is probably 100% correct to do her own research to find out whether or not the phone records match up, okay? So she'll be retrieving all the messages in and out from each phone, not just one, but both, okay? So that is also being looked at. Now, so let's go over some things that we know, okay? So the DNA and everything is going to get ready to be done. Ari is confident that the DNA will prove that there was a struggle. So the other day, I want to say it was yesterday or the day before, Trina came up and we kind of got off track a little bit. So we're going to try to get back on track with this DNA. Now, it was the first time that we saw the full body of a lot of blood on Holly. Okay, let's put this picture back up. Hold on, let me make sure this is the right one. Give me a second. We're going to put this picture back up and we're going to talk about it. Okay? And then I want to bring up some other information for you. I'm just going to put this picture back up right here because I kind of put them all kind of side by side. All right, here we go. So let's take a look at it and let's go over it, you guys. So right here, we see a photo with blood on Holly's front. Now, we've seen it, the blood. We've seen one picture where she had blood on her pants, blood on her shoes, and some of it on her socks, okay? She was soaking blood in those areas. And then we saw the one with the blood on the inside of her hands, okay? And then we see the hair in a disarray. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Let me go back out a little bit. Okay, do we have them all in here? Okay, we do. So, but what we didn't see is the photo of the DNA that's kind of spread it across her body as she was getting arrested. Now, there are people that's saying that this photo is fake. Nina doubles down and say it is real. However, what I was told that this photo really means nothing because the real photo is the photo that was taken when Holly pulled up at the station, okay? Because what happened was when Holly made it to the station, because she had so much blood on her, they asked for her family to bring her a change of clothing, okay? That's why we saw the mug shot and it was in different clothing, is because they asked her family to bring her different clothing, okay? So, but before they asked her family to bring different clothing, they took photos of Holly. So those photos are the ones that's going to be used in court, okay? Them photos showed Romika's DNA. Well, let me say it like this. Let me be a little bit more correct because that information has not come out yet. Those photos showed that Holly was covered in blood. Okay? She was covered in blood on her top, on her hands, on her pants, socks, shoes, and probably other places. And it was in the inside of her hand, because a lot of people want to say, oh, it was the palm of her hand because they did this fist bump or whatever. Well, baby, this is the inside of her hand. Inside of her hand. And her hair was in disarray. Absolutely was in disarray. Not like fucked up, but y'all see it. Y'all see it. It looks like it has been grabbed on, okay? Now, let's talk about that for a moment, okay? A lot of people want to assume that the state is correct with their witness number 3 saying that the unaliving was done execution style by Holly walking off the sidewalk with her gun pointed at Ramika and shooting boom, boom, boom 3 times at her, hitting her twice, 1 in the chin and 1 in her femur, okay? The thigh. Front to back entry, right? Both wounds. However, my observation of this is some of this blood looks smeared. Now, can you get blood on you from a splash from someone being shot? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. But it will be more driplets of blood. Now, I'm about to get gross here for a second, but I want you to go with me for a moment. Have you ever, raise your hand if you have ever, what I want to use, popped a pimple on your loved one or your friend or child or whoever. Have you ever popped a pimple for someone trying to get an ingrown hair out and you popped a pimple? I know that sounds disgusting, but I'm trying to go somewhere here. Raise your hand if you've ever popped a pimple on someone else, not your own, but somebody else's pimple. Thank you guys so much for helping me meet my goal. I appreciate that. I see y'all. So raise your hand in the chat if you've ever popped a pimple on someone. Nobody? Am I the only one? Nobody's admitting to that gross shit, huh? Is that what it is? All right, QC the only one. QC raised her hand like, let me go on and tell this shit. Let me go on and be honest, okay? All right, so listen. QC, since QC the only one that has popped a pimple on someone, if you pop a pimple, which is disgusting, but if you are getting out a ingrown hair, someone says, hey, can you get this pimple? This shit hurt. Can you go ahead and pop this pimple for me? Okay, I see some more hands. Okay? So if you pop a pimple, have you ever popped it and some juice squirt out that motherfucker and it hit you? Have you ever popped a pimple and some of that juice and shit hit you and you like, ew, like gross? Has that ever happened to you? Have a pimple ever squirted? Well, anyway, let me just get where I'm going. If the pimple juice squirted, okay, it squirted and you found like little droplets on you and it was still disgusting. You probably wanted to go take a shower immediately because you probably felt like it was like the worst thing ever, right? Well, when you shoot a weapon from a distance, right, and the splash of the blood will get on you in the same manner that the pimple juice get on you, in trinkets, like little small droplets. It's still disgusting, right? But it's small droplets. Now, until you rub your face or touch it, right, it's still just droplets, right? It's not smeared. It's just little droplets. It's nasty, I know. That's the same way when blood splashed out the body, it will splash on you in droplets, okay? It will come on you in droplets. It will not look like smeared blood. This photo appears to show smeared blood, which means what? Which means contact. This blood looks more like contact blood, rubbing, friction, okay? Now, this, again, is my observation. This is nowhere written in the files. We have to wait till the DNA results come back in June for us to be able to find this out. But also, let me just say this. So I'm going to come back to where I'm going in a minute, but let me just say this. You remember when Keys put out the information that no DNA was found up under Ramika's fingernails, no DNA of Holly, no hair, no blood, no DNA whatsoever was found up under Ramika's fingernails? Y'all remember that? Well, that information is false because the DNA test has not even been done, okay? The DNA test has not been done, and it won't come back until June. So the information that was put out about no DNA found was absolutely false. It was misleading. It was fabricated, okay? And it was told improperly. A DNA test has never been put out as of yet, okay? So again, with that information, and this is in the court paper, the DNA won't even come back until June. So we won't find out if any DNA was under Ramika's fingernails, Ramika's hair, or anywhere on Ramika's body or Holly's until June. So that information that was put out was absolutely false, okay? So with that being said, the blood on Holly, in my observation, looks more smeared blood. I'm going to zoom in just a bit. And this is if we are to assume that this photo is the correct photo, okay? If we are to assume this looks smeared, does it to you? This doesn't appear to be blood that was just splattered on a person. It looks more smeared, okay? Which means that there was close physical contact, okay? That is the defense's theory, that there was a struggle, a fight, or an attack, should I say, before the gunshot was ever fired, okay? Before the gun ever fired, all right? There was a close encounter, struggle. So this supports the defense in more ways than one, okay? Having smeared blood on Holly, it disproves the state's number 3 testimony of the shot started from the sidewalk as she walked up and fired her weapon, okay? It disproves it, all right? Absolutely. So with that being said, right here shows more support for the defense that there was a struggle between the two ladies, the victim and the deceased. I mean, excuse me, the defense. The defendant and the deceased. There was a struggle, or there was physical contact. So there's a lot of people that say there was no struggle, there was no fight, that didn't happen. Well, the photos proves that there was physical contact, okay? So it supports the defense more than it does the state's theory, okay? Now, without video footage, because no video footage was there, and only one witness have said they saw majority of the incident, right? And said that they saw the witness come from the sidewalk, raise her weapon, walk toward Ramika, and fire her weapon multiple times. This discounts that because this shows that there was some type of contact, some type of struggle, which goes with the defense and not the state's theory, okay? This will hurt the state a whole lot. If it comes back that this is Ramika's blood on her, okay, from the DNA testing, and they would have an expert there to prove whether or not this was from backlash from a gun being shot and blood being on you, because you know they can't tell that type of stuff, right? And they could tell whether or not the blood came from contact or the blood came from just backsplash, right? They will be able to tell that. So this will be huge for the defense and goes against the state's theory, okay? So the state says there was no struggle at all, okay? Well, her hair looked disarray, and from what I was told, there is a video coming from them, coming from their apartment. Holly, Carlos, and Little Los. They were coming downstairs with the baby bag and whatnot, walking to their car. In that video footage, Holly's hair is intact, okay? Perfect ponytail or however you want to say it, right? Now, after, or should I say, these after scene photos shows a different style of her hair than what it showed her walking downstairs and getting into the vehicle. Now, does that prove that there was a struggle? Not necessarily prove that there was a struggle or an attack, but it does prove that her hair looks different than it did before the incident claim, okay? Before the incident claim, okay? Now, what else do we have? So these photos are very telling. Again, we don't have the DNA report. That would be very interesting. Also, the ballistic report and the gunshot residue report is also due in. So as of right now, they have not noted whether or not Holly's hair is going to have gunshot residue in it at all. Okay, we don't know that yet. We don't know. Now, we did see on Romika's body, they said there was no soot. Soot that comes from soot or burns would come from if Holly would have pressed the weapon against her skin and then shot. So right there has already been ruled out. Okay? Because that would be deliberate execution right there. When you press a weapon muzzle against someone's body and you shoot, baby, that's execution. So that was ruled out already when it said no soot. Okay? No soot found on Romika. So there was no press the weapon muzzle against someone and pow pow, right? However, the gunshot residue report, as it is in this court document, is due back, right? And we will find out, did Holly or Romika have gunshot residue on them? We will find out if they have gunshot residue on them. Is it in her hair? Does she have blood in her hair? Does she have blood on her face? Does she have blood in other places? Okay, so we will find that out real soon. Okay, the courts is going along. I think it's going along as planned. The discovery is definitely being turned over, and we are finding more and more about this case as the time go on. Now, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, I do believe several of the Justice for Romika people are starting to side-eye some things because more things is becoming apparent and they're not able to justify it. Because how can you justify blood all over her clothing like this? How? Smeared blood on her clothing. How? Right? How? Well, it's getting harder and harder to justify a lot of things, right? There's a lot of unanswered questions, right? Because they're like, wait a minute, how did her blood get here? How did her blood get here? So a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute. She could have picked up the body and moved it. Well, guess what? As we go back to the paperwork, it was never mentioned to the police officers during investigation that Holly ever touched the body. It was never mentioned. Never mentioned, okay? So the mention on the YouTube channel, I believe they moved the body. That's on the YouTube channel. That is not what was told to the officers on the scene, and that was not told to the officers during interrogation. So with that being said, that's just extra fluff added to try to make something stick, okay? But there was no mentioning of moving the body on day one of the incident or the day of the interrogation. Not interrogation, but the investigation that the witness came down and gave a statement. Like I said, there was so far I know, three different versions from just one witness, okay? So now, which one we gonna go with? All right, now let's move right along to also witness number 3 stated that Holly was the aggressor, okay, because she provoked Romika to get out the car. I want to speak on that for a moment, okay, because I want you guys to understand provoked, okay? So I looked it up. Let me pull it up right quick. Even though I know what it means, I kind of want to like just go along with my research, okay? Give me a second. Okay, so provoking someone, let's talk about it, all right? A lot of people seem to think if they are to believe witness number 3 and that Holly provoked Romika by going up to her car and banging on it and saying, get out and fight me, bitch. Get out and fight me, bitch, right? They taking that as Holly provoked Romika. I want to talk about that for a moment, okay? Let's talk about it. If that is even the case, let me pull up another photo as we talk about that, okay? Give me 1 second. Give me a second. Let me pull up this other photo because I want to talk about it as I have the photo up. Give me a second. If we're going to believe that, if we're going to go along with those, with that storyline, okay? All right, which one I want to use? Am I going to use this? No, I don't want to use that one. Hold on. All right, I use this one. Okay. I'm going to use the one that I was talking when Trina came up here the other day. All right. So if we are to believe that storyline, if we are to take that witness number 3 statement to be true, okay? Now, let's go there for a second. Give me a second. Let me drink me some more water. Okay. So if we are to believe that Holly came off the sidewalk, walked up to Ramika's car, and start banging on it, right? If we are to believe that theory, okay? Because the witness says, her own words, that Holly was on the sidewalk first, right? While Ramika was in the car. While Carlos got Ramika in the car, Holly was on the sidewalk. Holly came off the sidewalk while Ramika was sitting in the car, banged on the hood, and said, get out and fight me, bitch. Okay? It was said that Holly also said, I got a gun. No, excuse me. Let me say it right. I'm sorry. So Holly banged on the car and said, get out, fight me, bitch. So Ramika gets out the car. Okay? And as Ramika get out the car, she is grabbed from behind by Carlos. Why did he have to grab her? Well, I don't know. Was she approaching Holly? Maybe. We're going with their theory, even though I don't believe it. I don't believe how that's how it happened. However, we're going with it. So Carlos grabbed Ramika. Okay? This is the state version. This is his witness version. Carlos grabbed Ramika. And as he had Ramika, Holly stated, I'm going to go get my gun. Okay? I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to go get my gun. So as she's going to get her gun, Carlos still has Ramika and say, see, she's going to go get her gun. She's going to go get her gun. So she goes to the driver's side of her vehicle and she retrieves her weapon and she stands back at her on the sidewalk, right? By the passenger door. She stays there. This is per the witness number 3. She stays there, right? So once Ramika wiggles away from Carlos, not before he wiggles away, but she wiggles away. Once she wiggles away, the state said Ramika took steps back from the shooter, Holly. And as she took steps back, Holly advanced forward, raising the weapon and fires at Ramika. That is what the states want us to believe. But somehow, the body lands right by Holly's car door. Right by it. Right by it. Not by Ramika's car, but by Holly's car door. Okay? Now, what the state can't answer right? Or the people that is Justice for Ramika, what they cannot answer is how, if she took steps back from the shooter, how did her body land closer to Holly's vehicle than her own, right? Now, we don't know where the state is alleging that the chokehold incident took place, right? But even if they are alleging that there is a chokehold event that took place and they want to stick with that, let's assume it took place really close to Holly's car, hence why her body landed right by the door. Let's just assume that. It's people saying that because Holly walked up to Ramika's car and banged and said, "Get out, fight me, bitch," that she provoked Ramika. So saying that Ramika was provoked, which means that leaves Holly as the aggressor. That is absolutely false. That's absolutely false. Let me explain. Just because a person provoked you, and this is just going with their theory, okay? Even if Holly allegedly provoked Ramika, okay? That does not justify her as the aggressor. Because once Holly retreated and went back to the sidewalk, right? She's not the aggressor. She retreated. Listen, if you are involved in any type of altercation and you walk off, you walked off. Walking off is not being the aggressor. The aggressor is the first person that initiate physical contact, okay? Threatening force, not talking shit. Just because you may talk shit to someone, and again, this is if we go with the state's version. So even if it is true that Holly went to her car and said, "I'm gonna get out the car and fight me, bitch." Even if Ramika got out the car and made her way over to Holly, guess what? That puts Ramika as the aggressor, not Holly. Holly retreated. Once you move away, now, but let me continue. Because it says that she moved away. So the reason why the state had to frame it that, yes, she was on the sidewalk, but she started walking toward Ramika, firing her weapon, right? Multiple times, because they had to put Holly back as the aggressor. Why? Because when the witness said after she banged on the car door, provoked her, antagonized her, she retreated back to the sidewalk. Once she retreats, she's no longer the aggressor. She's no longer the aggressor. The person that advanced forward, the person that throws the first punch, that's considered the aggressor. So again, we already know Ramika was the aggressor when she just pulled up. We know that, okay? Holly didn't pull up on her. She pulled up on Holly. That made her the aggressor. But when Carlos was able to get Ramika in the car, that ended confrontation, okay? It ended. Pause. Boom. Pause, right? Whoever initiates it back up, not talking shit, making advancements. Whoever made advancements at who is considered the aggressor. Now, there's different ways you know that Ramika was the aggressor. It's said by their own state witness that if we go by their version, that Carlos had to grab Ramika from behind. Why? Why did he have to grab Ramika from behind? Was she advancing toward Holly maybe? Or did she just get out the car just to be out the car? Their own state witness, their own star witness said Carlos had to grab Ramika from behind and put her in a chokehold, right? A headlock. Why did he have to even do that? Was she going toward Holly? That right there alone puts her as the aggressor, okay? If he had to retain her, right? Then it didn't say Carlos released her. It says she slipped away from him. She wiggled her body away from Carlos. What does that tell us? That she was being restrained and she got away from the restraints. Okay? She did. Carlos didn't release her. She got away. However, the state had to throw in there that she made steps away from the shooter. Okay? Why did they have to say that? Well, the reason why they had to say that, because again, they have to put Romika as if she was retreating. So because the gunshot wounds say front to back, the state can't say she turned around and walked toward her vehicle, because then the wounds would say, state prosecutor, you's a damn liar, pants on fire, okay? So because the state cannot justify the front to back wound entry in their theory, that is why they threw, she took steps away from the shooter. Steps away. But steps away from the shooter still landed her body right by Holly's car. So was she closer to the sidewalk and then took steps away and ended back at the tire area or the side door of Holly's vehicle? Are we to assume that? So again, they had to say she took steps away to make it, put her in a retreat mode, because why? Because the victim was the aggressor. Once she got out the car, once Carlos had to hold her, she became the aggressor. Once she advanced toward Holly, she became the aggressor. When she wiggled out of the restraints, she became the aggressor. Why? Because she went toward Holly, okay? However, again, the state was very careful by saying she took steps away. And then they tried to put Holly as the aggressor by saying she raised her weapon while on the sidewalk and started walking towards Romika. So when they say that, start walking toward Romika, they put Holly back as the aggressor. But now, with that being said, they have to explain the smeared blood that's on Holly, from Romika. Romika's blood is smeared on Holly. They have to explain that. They haven't yet been able to do so. Okay? Why? Because the state's theory is she shot from a distance. Well, Romika's DNA smeared on Holly defutes the state's claim. This wasn't from a distance evidence, okay? This is not from a distance evidence. The body falling right by the car does not fit the state claim, and nor does the smearing of the blood fits the state claim. This does not fit the state claim, all right? So with that said, the state has an uphill battle, because now you have witness credibility, because they have no video footage of the incident itself. They have witness credibility against evidence. I love it, you guys. I love it. Because you can say anything you want out your mouth, any day, any time, any hour. But evidence outweighs any witness statement. If the evidence does not line or align with the witness statements, they're going to go by the evidence. You remember in the OJ case, right? They thought they had OJ. They thought they nailed him until they said, try on these gloves, right? And when he tried on the gloves were too effing small. And what did Johnny Cochran say? If it don't fit, you must acquit. They could not prove that he was the killer because he couldn't even wear the gloves that was found on the scene or near the scene, okay? Right? The gloves that was tossed didn't even fit OJ's hands, all right? So with that being said, it doesn't matter if you have 20 witnesses. If their statements do not align with evidence, then guess what? You must acquit. You must acquit. So when I told y'all that I don't believe that this case will be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, I meant that. I do not believe the state will be able to prove that it was not justifiable beyond a reasonable doubt. One, because there's no video footage. Two, because the witness statements has a huge credibility issue, okay? They were all in transit, every last one of them, except for witness number one, and that's Carlos. But the rest of them was in transit. They were here, there, and everywhere, okay? They were on the bus. They was under the green line. They was by the smoothie shop. They were in their car. They were parking. They were going up to their jobs. They were looking out the window, right? So each witness statement, they were in transit. Some of them seen some things. Some of them didn't see some things. But nevertheless, it must align with the evidence. It doesn't matter what they say. They can literally pull whatever they can out of their rectum. If it doesn't match the evidence, it will not fit. It will not fit, okay? So with that being said, the body landed right by Holly's car, not Romika's car, okay? Romika it's been said, she jumped out of her vehicle. Holly didn't come over to the driver's side and say, open the car door and say, get out, bitch, and drag her out her car. Romika got out of her own car. So let's talk about provoking someone right quick. Now, the question I ask is provoking a victim considered being the aggressor? It says provoking someone and being the aggressor are related, but they are not automatically the same thing. It depends on how the law defines the behavior of what actually happened. What does provoking mean? Provocation generally means doing or saying something that is intended to trigger a reaction of another. Examples of provocation is insulting or taunting someone, threatening someone, following or confronting someone aggressively, making gestures meant to start a fight. However, words alone do not make someone the legal aggressor, and this is in most states. What does aggressor mean in a self-defense law? The aggressor, or another word, initial aggressor, is the person who starts or initiate the physical confrontation or the threat of force, okay? Now, in this scenario, an example of aggressor would be who threw the first punch, right? Who physically grabbed the other person? Who pulled the weapon first? Who charged toward who in a threatening way first? Okay? Now, why does this distinction matter? Well, in the self-defense law, the aggressor usually cannot claim self-defense. So if Holly was the aggressor, she cannot claim self-defense unless she clearly withdrew and the other person continued the attack. That's the only way. If Holly initiated it and was the aggressor, once she withdraws and the other person continues the attack, right? Then that switched the roles. She's no longer the aggressor. Someone who is provoked may still have the right to defend themselves if the other person escalates to physical violence, which means even if Holly was the initial aggressor, which we know she wasn't, but even if we're going to go with their theory and say, okay, Holly antagonized Romika, Holly banged on the door, Holly provoked Romika to get out the car, right? The moment the person, the aggressor, retreats, withdraws, goes back to the sidewalk, they're no longer the aggressor. The person that escalated, moved forwards, closed gaps, makes a strike on the other person. They are the ones that's put in the aggressor seats. Let me give you a scenario. Person A, okay? They call person B a name and insult them, okay? Then person B runs over and punches person A. In most jurisdictions, person A provoked verbally, but person B became the aggressor when they started the physical attack. So when they ran over and punched that person, it swapped roles, okay? Which means in this scenario, if we are to believe that Holly provoked Romika, went up to her car, banged on it, get out, bitch, I'ma fight you, bitch, get out, bitch, I'ma fight you, okay? And once she retreated and ran over to the sidewalk, the fact that Romika exited the vehicle and moved in toward Holly, and per the defense, she hastily or aggressively moved toward Holly and swung on her. That makes Romika Meeks the aggressor all day long. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. The moment she got out of her vehicle and ran toward Holly, it put her in the aggressor position. Okay? Now that's per the defense. That's what she did, all right? So with that being said, it says, but provocation can affect a self-defense claim. Some laws say a person cannot provoke a confrontation in order to create an excuse to use force. Example is someone taunts a person hoping they will attack so that they can shoot them. That can destroy a self-defense claim because it shows intent to create the conflict, okay? Now, I said that because if a person taunt you just so that you can jump out your car and run toward them or whatever, then that can show intent, right? It can show intent to create a conflict. But once Holly removed herself per the state and went to the sidewalk and stood there and Romika advanced on her, it put Romika in the aggressive slot, okay? Now, the state and the defense is saying two different things, totally two different things. They are blaming each other as being the aggressor. The state is saying Holly was the aggressor. The defense is saying Romika was the aggressor. The evidence is going to prove who was the aggressor. The evidence. The evidence will always outdo anything anybody says. The state has the witnesses and the defense have their witness, which is the shooter and witness number one, okay? So they have people that were actually on the scene, and the state have people that was claimed they was on the scene, but they was here, there, and everywhere. So this case is gonna come down to credibility versus evidence. Again, this case is going to come down to credibility of a witness versus the evidence. The evidence will always win when it comes to a witness being non-credible, okay? Now, I'm going to read this person because they have been trying to get my attention the entire time. It says, think about it. Think about it. Use yourself as a parable or more. If you remove yourself by getting in the car and now someone comes to banging on your car, who's being the aggressor? If I get my ass out that car, I'm the aggressor. Because somebody banging on my car does not mean that I have to get out and entertain them. Once I choose to exit the vehicle, I become the aggressor. Because we're grown and we're responsible for our own actions. Holly didn't make Romika get out that car, just like she didn't make Romika pull up, bust a U-turn, and drive up initially. So again, to answer your question, and I hope you thoroughly understand that, the moment Romika exited the car, she's the aggressor. Okay? Banging on a car doesn't make you the aggressor. Because what threatening actions was she doing? How was she her banging on the car, if we are to believe that, which it is something that was not stated the day of the incident, and it was only stated later that she was banging on the car. Actually, to be honest with you, the banging on the car only came from the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, she didn't even say that in the interrogation room. She didn't even say that in the interrogation room. It says in the interrogation room, she went up to the car and made threatening comments toward her, but it did not say that she was banging on the car, because that's not the information that the state received. She added that when she was on the YouTube channel's platform. All right. So again, if you feel that someone approaching a vehicle is the aggressor, no. The aggressor is the one that start the physical confrontation. Okay? Words is not physical. You can say whatever you want out of your mouth, but once you decide to move in aggressively and swing on a person, you become the aggressor all day, every day. Okay? All right. So with that being said, you guys, evidence is going to win this case. The evidence is going to win this case. I cannot wait till the DNA evidence come back. Of course, we won't hear about it until June, but June is right around the corner, so let's just hold out. But baby, I cannot wait till the evidence come out about the DNA, okay? Once the DNA results are released, once the ballistic reports are released, once the gunshot residue reports are released, I do believe that we will find out more information. I think right now the information that we have is still speculative, right? And it's closing in, but we don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. Once we receive the big pieces, we got small pieces. But once we receive the big pieces, I do believe that a lot of people will start seeing things differently, okay? So again, the big pieces of the puzzle would be the DNA. Was Romika DNA on Holly? And was Holly DNA on Romika? Now that's going to tell a lot, okay? We will find out, did Romika have Holly's hair in her hand? Because I want to ask you guys a question. If Romika has Holly hair in her hand, what are we to say, you guys? Let me know down below. What's your take? If it comes back that Romika had hair of Holly's, or even the extensions that she was wearing, if she had hair that did not come from her, if it's found on her person, what are we to believe? She said the aggressor is the one that pulled up, period. That's the initial aggressor, but once she retreated to her vehicle, whoever initiated that, as far as her getting out her car and moving and closing in, she became the aggressor again, okay? She said, who said Holly hit her car? The witness number 3 said Holly hit her car, but she did not tell the police that. She only told the YouTube channel that, okay? All right, okay, so I asked you guys, if it comes back that a hair is found on Romika, what will you think? And you guys are saying that she was attacking Holly. Exactly. So I wonder how the Justice for Romika supporters are going to twist and turn that. Well, baby, June is right around the corner. So start thinking of something now, because baby, you're going to need some help come June, okay? Come June. Now, am I saying definitively that there is going to be hair? No, but if I come in it like Ari did, and I want you guys to see what Ari said right quick. Let me put up what Ari said. Oh, hold on. These are Ari words. All right, let me zoom in. Ari says, hold on, let me move this. Let's get the ruler. Ari says, we're not going to have an expert. The DNA kind of goes straight toward our defense. So we won't have an expert there. The DNA kind of goes straight toward our defense. I'm going to put a line up under that. Hold on. Oh, come on. The DNA The DNA kind of goes straight toward our defense. So Ari is confident that the DNA will show that Romika DNA is on Holly and Holly DNA is on Romika. Okay? Chocolate leg girl, we don't allow disrespect in this chat. Okay? So if you're going to be disrespectful, you will be put out. All right? We ask that you respect the chat. You have your opinion, but just be respectful. Okay? All right? So again, it's going to show the DNA. If it shows, should I say, the DNA on Holly, if it shows that blood right here that we see, if that is Romika's blood, and if anything of Holly's is on Romika, is going to show that there was physical contact. And if there is physical contact, then the defense is going to look good in their defense, okay? Because they're the ones saying contact was made. The state is saying, no, it was not. So if they can prove that contact was made, baby, the state is not going to like it at all, okay? At all, okay? Again, she said it should have gone any further. Romika got in that car. It shouldn't have gone any further once Romika got in the car. It shouldn't have gone any further. She shouldn't have been trying to attack her in the first place. But if Romika was in the car, she should not have got out in the car. So you're absolutely correct. She should not have gotten out of her car. Absolutely. Romika should not have gotten out of her car, period. She should not have. You're absolutely correct. No one told Romika to get out the car. Not even told, but ordered Romika. No one put a gun to Romika's head and say, Romika, get out of this car. Romika was a grown woman just like Holly, okay? So the fact that she got out of her vehicle after already being in her vehicle puts her as the aggressor, okay? She's the one that exited that vehicle. She's the one that closed in on Holly, not the other way around. Now, this is per evidence, not per no witness statement, per evidence. Evidence shows that she closed in on Holly, not the other way around, okay? So again, she said Romika shouldn't have stopped. Romika shouldn't have stopped. Romika shouldn't have bust that U-turn and pulled up on them, but nevertheless, Romika shouldn't have got out of the car once things calmed down. She should not have exited the vehicle again, period. She should not have. But that shows deliberate wanting an altercation. She deliberately wanted an altercation, okay? Lack of control does not justify, oh, she made me do it. She made me do it. No, that does not put you in as a victim because you lack control. Romika lacked control that day. She could not control herself, okay? She lacked control. Lack of control does not make you a victim, period. So again, more evidence is coming out. I really cannot wait to see what they say that's in these documents, okay? The 100-page documents, okay? Because, I'm pretty sure there's some stuff in there that's quite interesting, all right? Nevertheless, y'all, anyway, the evidence, not evidence, but things are going on. More discovery is coming, being swapped out and things of that nature. And yeah, we're gonna find out more and more in the coming days, so I think we just need to, just continue to follow and find out what's coming out next. But I definitely wanted to talk to you guys about the DNA and witness number 3 saying that she provoked her. And we have to understand this. Witness number 3's statements is very contradictory. It contradicts its own self. So the state has an uphill battle because their own witness statements contradicts itself, okay? It contradicts itself, right? So the witness number 3's statement alone may be better for Holly than it is for the state, okay? Better for Holly than it is for the state, all right? So any questions, anyone? She said Romika should have taken her crazy ass to work, period. She had no reason to stop. She caused her own death. I hate to say it, but she is absolutely 99.9% of the reason that this incident took place. 99.9. 99.9. She pulled up on them. They did not pull up on her. Okay? So, with that being said, you guys, I think this is enough for the Holly Johnson update for today. Of course, you know, we'll continue to bring things as they come in. I know that everybody is not going to like the way I break this down, but again, I try to look at it legally and, you know, from an analysis point of my own comprehension. All right. So I know everybody's not going to agree with what I say. However, you know, when you look at the facts, when you look at the evidence, a lot of people are missing the evidence. When you look at the evidence, they do not line up with what's being said by the witnesses, okay? By the state, per the witnesses. It just does not line up. Absolutely do not line up, okay? Oh, yeah, and one more thing. Let me just pull this up right quick. I want to say this because I did some research on this. Give me 1 second. I did some research on this, and it's interesting what I came up with. Okay, hold on. Oh, let me just get both of them. Hold on 1 second. Oh, come on. Okay. So I did a little research on this to find out, because this is evidence, you guys. This is evidence. So this is the gunshot. Excuse me, the evidence of injury. This shows that the gunshot went in front to back, right? Front to back. It said both wounds, the thigh wound and the face wound, went front to back. Now, with this being said, I did a little research to try to find out how in the world could both, from a 9mm, how could both of these shots go front to back, right? It said that it had to be, let me see, how did I word it? It had to be, well, from the blood drippings of, let me put that back up. From the blood drippings, because I had to put this in there as well. Let me get that. Let me put the blood drippings back up. Let me just use this photo. From the blood drippings, the person was upright, okay? From the blood drippings, the person was upright. If we are to believe the defense that there was a struggle, the person was upright. So how was both wound shots front to back, right? From the blood drippings, right? How it start off at the top, is smeared in the top and it goes down to the pants, whatever, right? That means it was in an upright position. And then the gunshot is front to back. That means that with both gunshots, through whether it was the chin or the femur, they were in an upright position when both of them took place. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means when the second gunshot wound took place, whether it was the chin or the thigh, because the paperwork says we don't know which one came first. We don't know which one came first, but they are both fatal shots, which means both of them should have put Romika on her back, okay? However, or should I say put her on the ground? I'm not going to say on her back. It should have put both gunshot wounds, both gunshots should have put Romika down. Why was she still standing with both gunshot wounds happening? How was she still standing when both gunshot wounds happening? Because the threat was not eliminated. She was in an upright position with both of these wounds, both of them. Why do I know? It says front to back. They went in from the front to back. The blood splatter is from the top to the bottom. Okay? She was in an upright position on both of these. How is that possible? Because the second shot proves the threat was not eliminated. She was still standing up. Now, was she still attacking? That's what the defense say. That's what the defense say. So, when you justify more than one shot, you can only justify if the threat has not been eliminated. If both of these wounds was taken in an upright position, that means to me, my analysis, that the threat was not eliminated. So I did do some research on that. Again, this blood didn't come from someone being laid down. This blood came from contact smearing that started up above, okay? And it trickled down. Boom. It was not eliminated. The threat was not eliminated. Both paths of shot. So it's not like she fell to the ground and Holly emptied the clip on her. No, she was still in an upright position. Both shots are fatal. A shot to your chin that trickles down your throat is fatal. A shot to your femur is fatal. It will drop you. Why wasn't she dropped? Because the attack was still happening. Once you receive a shot, your body tenses up, right? It goes into protection mode and it tenses up. And your adrenaline pumps very, very high and try to fight for you. The first shot did not drop her. The first shot did not drop her. Why not? Why not? Was it because she was still connected to the shooter? Did she still have the shooter's hair in her hand and she was connected in some type of capacity? Is that why? Huh? Because the second shot did not happen while laying down. How do we know that? Front to back, front to back. Both shots was front to back, front to back, front to back. These shots should have landed her on her ass. Both of them. So again, that's going to be interesting. And I ain't even no expert, y'all. I'm not even an expert, y'all. But this is going to be interesting when they go over and explain how was two fatal shots. How were they able to be front to back? Meaning that she was facing Holly. Romika was facing Holly on both shots. Not just one, but both shots. Both shots. Okay? Facing her on both shots. She didn't stand over her and empty the clip. Pam, 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 pam. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Front to back. Front to back. It went in from the front to back. That's what the report says. That's what the report says. Front to back. So again, that's going to be interesting. Oh, I just cannot wait until we start hearing about these. But the gunshot wound, let me go in. It says the gunshot wound of the entries on the interior aspect of the left thigh measures 1/4 inch. The entrance wound defect is located blah 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 blah. It says let's go down to where it actually matters. It says, I don't know why I keep doing that, but what does it say? The direction of wound path. The last sentence, you guys, the last sentence. Let's put it up there. The last sentence says what? The direction of the wound path on both wounds, not just one, was front to back. Boom, 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 right there. The other one up here. Let's go to it. What does it say front to back at on this one? Right here. These are both wounds. Hold on. That's the. Oops, let me get it. The direction of the wound path. Front to back. That's on both of them. Oops. Boom, boom, boom. The direction. Hold on, let me make it a little. The direction of the wound path is front to back on both of them. Boom, 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 boom. So she was in an upright position on both of them. All right. She said, Amore, you're the blank. I never thought of that. Girl, listen, I was just, doing research, trying to figure out how in the world. She said, true, because if Romika had fallen, the bullet wound would have been a down tilted angle. Yes, or it would have probably went in another way, not front to back, right? It would have came in another direction, but both wounds was in an upright position, okay? Front to back, meaning that she was facing the shooter. Romika was facing the shooter when she received both shots, okay? So why didn't they drop her? Both of them are fatal. Both shots are fatal. She said, I believe the first shot was the thigh shot, and she wouldn't let Holly hair go, so Holly shot upwards on the face, and maybe that's the shot to get her up off of Holly, and Romika let go and fell to the ground. Listen, but what I will say, the paperwork says they cannot tell which shot was the first one, so we don't know, right? It says on here they can't tell which one was the first shot, but both shots should have landed her on the ground. Why wasn't she on the ground from the very first shot? The only thing I can think of is she had to be latched on to Holly. She had to be braced up. She's in an upright position. So why didn't she fall? My observation is because the threat was not eliminated. It was not eliminated. If the threat was eliminated, she would have fell to the ground, okay? I will say this. We have seen people be shot and not fall, right? Like the other day, we saw that guy, he was beating on his girl, and the police shot him. He was still upright, but they found out later that man had so much drugs in his system. Now, I'm not trying to accuse Romika of having no drugs in her system. That's not what I'm trying to do. So I hope people that hear this don't run with it, but I'm pretty sure that they will, form their own opinion. However, what I will say is the prosecutors did mention that they are waiting on a medical report, okay? That there was some medicine in one of them. They are waiting on a medical report. So again, I'm not accusing her of having drugs in her system. However, per their argument, they are waiting on a medical report. Let me put that up for you right quick. This is what they told the court. Potential meds. It's some potential med. He didn't actually say exactly what medication, didn't say whose medication, but potential meds. So if that is the case, that may explain some things as well. Again, not saying that she was on drugs. Oh, shit, I thought I had put it up. Again, that's not saying that she's on any drugs. However, right here, and then it says right here, it goes up and say, right here, let's put this. They said there are still video outstanding. This is the prosecutor talking. There's still video outstanding because the judge was like, okay, what else you need? What else y'all need? What else you need? He says still video evidence outstanding and some supplemental reports and progress notes, potentially some meds. It's like they they put that in there. And then the DNA, gunshot residue, and ballistic testing is also outstanding. Which means, what does this mean? This means, oh, wait a minute, I got the wrong thing up. I'm thinking I'm showing y'all what I'm doing over here, and I'm not. Okay, here we go. What does this mean? This means, this is the state talking. There are still videos outstanding, some supplemental reports and progress notes, potentially some meds, and then the DNA, gunshot residue, and ballistic testing is outstanding. The judge says, well, give me again what's still outstanding. He says there are potentially some meds, medicine report. But again, Amora is not saying that Romika was on medicine. I'm only talking about the report. One of the young ladies had some medicine in their system. We don't know what it was, but one of the young ladies, they are waiting on a on a report on some meds, okay? She said, I don't think it was drugs. I do not believe the thigh shot was first. She didn't let go. So 2 more shots was hitting her face. Not saying it's true, but maybe that was the pause. It makes sense. She was only shot twice total, Kathleen, not 3. The gunshots went off 3 times, but she was only shot twice. So she was only shot once to the face and once to the thigh. Okay? Once to the face and once to the thigh. She said both shots were fatal, so one or the other, she was down from the first shot. Yes, but she was standing for the second shot, so she couldn't have been down from the first shot because both of them are in the upright position. So why was she upright for the second shot? They were both fatal. You're absolutely correct. They were both fatal shots. Why wasn't she down? She said there is no gunshot residue on Romika. Diamond, is that how you say your name? The gunshot residue report is not even back yet, sweetheart. It's not even back yet. That was a lie that was put out. Right here. The prosecutor told the judge they are waiting for the gunshot resident report, okay? It's not even out yet. The DNA report is not out yet. So the rumor going around that there was no DNA found, DNA was not even done, okay? Rumor going around that no gunshot residue was on them, that's a lie. The report's not even back yet, sweetheart. It's not back. So whoever you heard that from, you got to let them know, per the own prosecutor's mouth, a DNA has not been done. Gunshot residue, ballistics has not been tested yet, okay? It has not been done, completed. It was a lie, okay? A lie, all right? A lie, all right? So again, she said, why do y'all listen if y'all think she's lying? LOL, I'm so confused. Well, they could think I'm lying all they want to. I'm just reading. Reading comprehension is, it's a thing out there. You got to learn how to comprehend. But I don't think the states will be asking for a report for gunshot residue or ballistic testing or a DNA if it was already completed. They told the judge it is not completed, okay? Not completed. She said the meds are from Holly. Romika autopsy shows she had no drugs in her system. Amor, please stop instigating foolery with a bunch of lies. Are you that desperate for money? You out of here because you's an idiot. All right, there you go. All right. Now, we don't have to worry about idiots in here. Like I said, we are an intelligent group of people over here. We don't do the foolishness. I'm just reading the documents. This is what the documents read, okay? It says, in regards to outstanding discovery, I did tender 2 police inventories to council today comprising of 2 different phone dumps, one on a Blu-ray and one on a flash drive. There are still, this is the prosecutor telling the judge, there are still outstanding some supplemental reports and progress notes, potentially some meds. And then the DNA, gunshot residue, and ballistic testing is outstanding. They have not conducted or received the reports for gunshot residue or DNA. Again, they have not received it. So the person that is saying that they didn't find any, it is not even turned in. It has not been conducted. It is still out there. It is not in. The prosecutor even said he doesn't even believe that it would be in on April the 1st. Let's read that one. Let's read that one. He says he doesn't believe that it will be in on April the 1st. Let's go to it. Where does it say that? It says some reports and general progress reports, and then ballistic DNA and GSR, gunshot residue. Then the judge says, all right, Miss Ari, you do not wish to have a DNA. Okay, let's get to the part where, oh, that's on page 4. Let's go to page 4 where they say, where he says he don't even believe that it's going to be in. Give me a second. Hold on. Oh, let me open it back up. Let's go back in on page 4 where he says he doesn't even believe that it will be in by that date. Hold on. Is this it? Oh, is it a bottom of 3? Okay, hold on. Let me see. 4. I understand that. Da 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 da. Give me a second. Maybe it's on this one. Oh, right here. It says it right here. He don't even believe that the report will be back by April the 1st. This is the state. And see, that's why I like to bring you guys what they're saying and not what's being said on somebody else's panel, all right? So Mr. Castaneda, Mr. K, Attorney K, the state prosecutor, however you say his name, he even says right here that he does not, he says, this is him, he says, I don't expect by April the 1st that either the trace chemistry or the ballistics to be done either, okay? So he already saying he don't think that he will have back what it is that he need by April the 1st, even though, and right here it said, by agreement, April the 1st, 2006, that will be for meds, videos, GPRS. What is GPRS? Let me find out what's GPRS. Ballistic DNA. Oh, gunpowder residue. I'm sorry. Gunpowder residue, ballistics, DNA, and gunshot residue, understanding that the DNA is on the May grid. And then he comes back and say, I don't expect by April the 1st, either the trace chemistry or the ballistics to be done by that either. And Ari says, I know that. So right there, they're saying that they still have outstanding things that has not been conducted or returned. Okay, so you can't come over here yelling, there was no DNA found. There was none of this found. It hasn't been conducted yet. It has not been conducted yet. Hey, Real T. Real T says, Keys did a live and stated that Romika had 10 millimeters of THC in her blood. He read and shown the preliminary autopsy with the toxicology report. Oh, she did have weed in her, THC? Is that weed? That's weed, right? Well, I don't know if that's a lot. I don't know. Is that a lot? 10 milligrams? I don't know. But they are looking for, let's go back to it, said something dealing with, they are looking for some meds. Would they consider that meds though? THC? Would they consider that meds? I don't know. Let me know if they would consider that meds. Right here it says that they are, where's the meds? Oh no, I got the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Where's the report about the meds? Anyway, I think I showed y'all already. But would they consider THC meds? She said, yes, you are not supposed to be driving DWL. Oh, she said 10 milligrams is not a lot. Okay, so 10 milligrams is not a lot. Okay, she said, more read my question. All right, let me see your question. Where's your question, baby? I don't see. Oh, thank you, Miss Barbara. Appreciate you, love. I don't see a question from you, Tanisha. Or Tisha, I'm sorry. Tisha, what is your question? I don't see a question. Let me keep going. Oh, right here. Oh no. Do it say it could be fatal shots or it was a fatal shot? I think it does say that. I think it says both shots were fatal, but let's go back to it. Let's go back to it. It says, you talking about here? It says, let me see. Did it say both of them was fatal? Uh, I don't think that it said, it didn't say on here that they were both fatal. However, when we looked it up, that's where I got that from, that they were both fatal shots. So, on here, it doesn't read that, but somewhere in my research, I read that they were both fatal shots. So, yeah, so I don't see it on here. But both of them, from what my understanding from my research, that both of them was fatal shots. Okay. Illinois law, you're not supposed to be driving with 10 or more milligrams of THC in your system. That is driving under the influence. Oh, really? So she was, she says it's at the end of the report. Oh, is it at the end? Can you send that to me if you got it? If you got that real T, if you have that whole report. She said, yes, the medical examiner stated both shots were fatal. If you have that, can you send it to me? Because I don't have that. I just have this, and it's a screenshot of what was on what Keys was showing. I think either Keys or Trina. Okay. She said they normally report levels as NGML and not MG. Okay, thank you, Realty. Or more do a control and F key at the same time and search fatal. If that word is on that report, it should come up. No, I think she is on a different document. Okay, thanks, Realty. You don't have to do it tonight. We could just do it another day. But I read somewhere, I think I put it in and did an analysis on it, and it said both shots were fatal. Or unless I read it from somewhere else. I probably have it, but don't have it available on me right now. However, both shots were fatal. And then if you talk to some nurses and things of, like that or whatever, they'll tell you also that they were both fatal shots. Meaning that most likely she was not going to survive either one. She was not going to survive either one. I know that being shot in the femur, you lose a lot of blood. So unless they handle it like right away, like literally right away, most likely you're not going to survive that one, because you lose a lot of blood from that one. And then the other one, if I'm not mistaken, it said the bullet ricocheted down her throat, down her esophagus, and it rips all of that up, right? So with that being said, she probably would not have survived that either. Ain't no probably, but both shots were just not good. They was absolutely not good. It was not good, just not, it wasn't good. It's not like being shot in the foot, or the shoulder. the bullet, once the bullet get inside of you, it moves. You know what I'm saying? It ricochets. It goes all around. It tears some shit up inside of you, and it travels. You know. So with that being said, it wasn't good. Neither one of them. She said, because I don't be giving some F's about anyone got going on besides my bed and the kitchen. Oh, Kathleen. What you mean, Kathleen? What did you say that for? What Kathleen say? Oh, if she had a prescription, everyone is entitled to their own opinion without the need to be disrespected. We are too grown for the foolishness with this case. Did you read it or did Key's ass read it to you? Who, what are we talking about? She said, how were the shots close range? Did y'all even read the medical examiner report? The delusion is real over here. Well, how do you explain this blood right here? Diamonds. How do you explain this blood? Because I have not seen a Justice for Ramika supporter be able to explain this yet. Nobody. They dance around it. But how do you explain that blood right there? Can you explain that to me? I'm all ears. How do you explain the blood on her clothing if it was not done at close range? Can you explain that one? They can't explain that. They be like, How do you explain that? Okay. So again, once the DNA come back, we won't find out until June. We won't find out if in fact this is I heard somebody say Carlos hugged her and that's how she got the blood on her. I said, ooh. These jokers just do not want to believe that there was a physical altercation at all. They do not want to believe that Romika attacked Holly at all. I think that will hurt their feelings if they find out that Holly's DNA is on Romika. I think these people are going to lose their complete minds. They're going to lose their complete minds. They do not want to believe that there was an attack at all. That's going to hurt their feelings so bad. Oh, okay, I got you. She says they can't explain why did Ramika stop and get out of the car. They can't explain that either, Tisha. They can't explain that. So anyway, but she must have left. She said, "Oh, let me get up out of here." They asking, they asking questions, requiring me to think. I can't think. So anyway, y'all, but that's it for this case. So I'm gonna hop off this live stream, but I'm gonna hop off this live stream and I am going to probably relax for a few, just a few. Because I think I'm coming back on my other page. I don't know though. I may come back on this page, but I may come back on my other page and just, chit chat with y'all. Just chit chat with y'all. Okay. I may just come back and chit chat with y'all. So it's Friday, y'all. It is Friday, but I knew I owed y'all this and a lot of people was waiting on the mock trial, but the prosecutor sent me a message and was like, girl, the prosecutor needs some more time. I need to put in a continuation. And I'm like, a continuation? So, and I was like, okay. I mean, that is allowed in the courts, continuation, if a person is not prepared. If they're not prepared, they have a right to put in a continuation, all right? So I went ahead and let the prosecutor put in a continuation because they want to go over some documentation that they received, okay? Some things that they were unaware of, okay? So now that they are aware of it, they need to figure it out, okay? They need to figure it out, but it's all good. It's all good in the hood. So with that being said, y'all, we are going to jump this live. She said, More, you going to sleep? Not yet, baby, not yet. She said, can you please set the live so I can hit notify? Yeah. I'm trying to debate. Should I come back on this page or my other page? Let's go on the other page. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm going to set it up right quick. Give me a second. I'm going to set it up on my other page. For those that are not subscribed to my other page, that's my Pop Off with a More page where we get a little we get a little reckless over there. All right. So, all right. So I'm dropping the link. I put 10:30. Okay. That gives me about 30 minutes to see, you know, what's going on. All right. So that's it. Y'all go ahead and hit that thumbs up button over there. Set your notifications over there. That is my other page. Pop Off with Amora. I'm going to change my thumbnail, okay? But y'all give me some time. Give me some time. So that's my other page. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to that page. I just dropped the link, okay? So subscribe to that page. And so I'm going to use the other page to just talk noise and talk about what's going out here on social media or whatever, like, you know, just messy stuff that's going on YouTube. But I'm going to use this page that y'all on right now for my commentary and breakdowns, and I'm gonna try to separate the two because I don't want to keep coming out here with mess on this page, because there's some people that come to this page and listen for my breakdowns, right? And then there's some people just come to my page just want my mess. So we're gonna separate the two, y'all. We're gonna separate the messiness from my money making page, okay? We want to keep this one safe and intact, baby, okay? Y'all can help me with that. Y'all can help me with that. I appreciate y'all. Let me give a shout out to those that blessed me with a tip on this live. I do appreciate you guys so very much. All right. Thank you, Tanya G. Appreciate you, love. Rita M. Appreciate you. Kim C. Appreciate you. 200K. Appreciate you. Joanne. Appreciate you. Tender T. Appreciate ya. Joanne. Binky Bink. Binky Bink. Tandra T. Vanita Spears. Vanita again. Tawana Featherson. Lisa, and Nicole Jam. Miss Gumbus, 4 children and 2 grands. All right. We got Do Poop, Latricia, Vera, Jen Hen, Sonia C, and my girl Barbara C. Thank you guys so much for blessing this live stream so very much. Go ahead. Again, I dropped the link. Subscribe to that page if you just want the messy drama. If you don't care for the messy drama, then do not go over to that page, okay? So we won't be doing no breakdown court analysis on that page. That page is strictly for, what's going on out here in these yucky ass streets, okay? All right. Oh, thank you so much, Gloria. Appreciate you so very much. Say great live more. Thank you so much. And apologies again for not having the mock trial, but it's coming, y'all. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. But you know, the state got to get it together, honey. They got to find out another angle because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They got to find out another angle to come at this because what they have right now is bullshit, okay? They got bullshit. They don't have enough to prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt. They got credibility issues in their witness all over the place. Witness walking on the moon, witness, you know, they on Venus, they on Mars, they some every damn well. You know what I'm saying? They ain't even in one location, okay? They caught on camera, they got on headphones, they doing all type of shiznits, okay? They even got criminal charges themselves. What you talking about? But anyway, like I said, they got to come up with something else because what they have right now is not locked tight, okay? It does not fit the evidence that is being presented, okay? So they got to figure out, okay, how the hell they're going to explain all this goddamn on DNA found on the victim, okay? They got to explain it. They got to figure it out, all right? And they can only use the evidence that's being presented in court. They can't pull a rabbit out of their ass at all. That's not what we're doing. We are using what's being presented in court, okay? With that being said, thank y'all so very much for blessing my channel. You guys are amazing. I do appreciate y'all. Y'all hit that thumbs up button. And like I said, if y'all want to meet me on the other page, y'all, hit that link. Hit that link. Now, I had 200 and some people in there the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, I got 200 and some people want to listen to my mess? Really? Really? So anyway, but hit me on that page if you want to just, you know, chit-chat, okay? Love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye now.
Because they can't make $1 without mentioning down one of our names.
Jay!
She kept talking about that family.
Hoes over there.
She kept talking about that family. 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 That family. She kept talking about that family. Talking about family.
These motherfuckers don't be want to bless no damn body.
Because they can't make a dollar without mentioning now one of our names.
Talking about it, talking about it, talking about it. That family. That family. That family. That family.
Jay!
That family. That family. Talking about it, talking about it, talking about it.
Dollar.
Talking about it, talking about it, talking about it.
Child, we finna talk about this with a moral.